I grew up in Raynell, West Virginia. My parents were drug addicts.
In a way, Makayla's story begins not very uniquely.
She's a victim of the opioid epidemic.
And so in that way, Makayla's story is not so strange.
My mom, she passed away when I was about 6 of a drug overdose. From then on, everything just kind of went downhill. I honestly didn't want to live anymore because I just felt so worthless. I was mostly just abandoned. I was neglected and left alone for almost all of my time as a child. After, spending a few years just kind of going from state home to state home, I was put in the foster care system.
We fostered, I think, about 17 kids. All of them's not a match for your house, but some just come through the doors and they're where they're meant to be.
And I was put into the foster care system and just kind of thrown around in different houses and people that really didn't care until I was 9. And I was adopted by my wonderful parents, Melissa and Telford Scott.
When the first time I met her, she was just this shy little girl, and she would smile, but you could almost see it wasn't real. She didn't fit in. She would just play or draw or something, but not really interact with the family. She didn't give hugs or I love yous, so there was just like a wall around her. 10 to age 12, I didn't trust anybody, and I was kind of stuck in this shell. It was my first 4-H shooting practice ever, and that day I hit my first clay, and it was just, everything changed. Whenever I started getting into shooting sports is whenever I kind of started to notice that somebody cares, and that was my dad. I was only thinking this would be something that would be a pastime for her, something just to give her a little confidence, but she wanted to learn more and she wanted to shoot more, and she kept practicing, and she'd practice in front of her mirror with the gun, just mounting a gun, and I was like, wow, she's really devoted.
I was terrible at first, but I really liked it. I started competing with some coaches around here, and I kind of got to see what the shooting world was. I feel like Dad really realized that, and he started literally dedicating his entire life to helping me and my siblings pursue our dreams.
I am to all my kids. If they give 100% to something, I'm going to give 110%.
And that just totally changed my entire life.
And she never looked back. I never seen a kid work so hard to be good at something.
My dad helped me realize that I was worth something.
And she's been a holy terror ever since. When the 4-H club, when they fell through and they didn't have a place to shoot, Makayla we all knew she had to keep shooting.
The Field of Dreams started just from an idea between me and Dad. Why don't we just build a field in the backyard? And Dad was like,
I said, well, Makayla, we can't financially do that. I said, if you can figure out a way, I'm all about it. I've kind of learned not to tell you that we can't anymore. And then she pitches her idea to her local coaches, and they're on board, so that's where it started.
Now we have a team of youth, actually the SCTP, about 25 plus kids that some of them never even shot a gun before, that participate in this. And it all just came together just from this big amalgamation of this dream, this belief that all of our coaches and me and Dad had.
Makayla Scott, to me, is like a force of nature. It doesn't matter how impossible it looks to everyone else. It's not to Makayla Scott.
From the first time she started shooting, wanted to compete at the highest level, which would be the Olympics.
Of course, the Olympics, I believe it's 2024 in France, is when I'd really, really love to go to the Olympics and compete.
We want to be along with that journey all the way from start to finish, all the way to the Olympics, and we want to see her bring back the gold for the United States.
My other ambitions are to spread the sport even more. Another thing that's really, really important is your routine. So you notice that every time I shoot, I kind of do the same thing every single time. The youth are our future.
She shows the other kids that if they are determined and they put in the time and effort, that they can be as good as she is.
Deep down, what makes me want to compete is growing from my past, because I had such, a terrible past, and not a lot of youth, and not a lot of women especially, ever grow from that. And a lot of times they'll end up giving up halfway or just not becoming what all they wanted to be.
To be around Makayla is absolutely infectious.
Her passion and her desire and her drive for life far exceeds any person I've ever met in the shooting community.
She will have the Olympics and a million other things in the next 10 years.
If she were to put down a shotgun today and walk away and never shoot it again, I'd never forget her.
I'm trying to drop that buggy thing.
She just has a way of making people maybe believe more in herself.
You can become something. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, what happened to you, what you did. You can become something great.